1 month later review of the Insta360 GO Ultra, the good and the bad, and my whole experience with this camera. Let's go. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Miro and this is where we talk about action cameras, camera settings, drones, and everything that you need for creating vlogs, travel videos, or just anything with a camera. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit the like button, that really helps a lot, and leave a comment down below if you have any questions. Now, I had the GO Ultra now for about a month, and I've put it through its paces. I've tested pretty much everything except the underwater capabilities, and I have to say that I'm really impressed with the camera. Now, let's start off first with the elephant in the room, as they say, and that is the video quality. Now, you guys thought I was gonna talk about the form factor, which is this thing, but I'll save that for later. So, let's talk about video. Now, I took this camera to various different events. We went to Bratislava, that's the capital of Slovakia. In November, they had like a citywide photography exhibition, many galleries, many famous artists, and many not that famous artists. And I took this with me when we were walking from one gallery to the other. I actually took this with me to a party one evening, which was... next mornings are always a bit hard, considering the yesterday's party time, which was a really good party. But I did push the camera through all sorts of different lighting scenarios, mostly low light, mostly artificial light, and for the most part, indoor scenes. And I have to say that the low light capabilities of this, the pure video AI enhanced video quality mode is I would say it's satisfactory. Now, I know that if I would use my bigger Sony camera, the video quality would be better. But seriously, for a small action camera, I'm quite impressed with the video specs. So for low light, I think this is good enough for any type of scene, especially if the camera is moving around and you have some sort of action happening. You only really see the lower video quality, which, it's an action camera. It's not gonna have brilliant video quality, but you only really notice it when the camera is in a still frame shot. Otherwise, as long as things are moving, and this is a really wide angle camera, it's 158, I think, degrees, so like a really wide field of view. So any little motion of this is going to make everything look really, dynamic and fast. So for the low light, I think this is actually a really good choice. It does have that 1/1.28" sensor, and well, let's talk about that one. So the sensor is the same or slightly bigger than the Ace Pro 2, which is the flagship action camera from Insta360, and it is a 48 megapixel sensor. But Insta does use pixel binning, which means that on the sensor you have 4 pixels combined into a bigger pixel, so effectively making it only a 12 megapixel sensor. Now, you might say, well, why is that relevant? Well, the bigger the pixels, the better the video quality, especially in low light. And because the pixels are binned, you can actually 2x digitally zoom in, and at the same time, the sensor gets unbinned. So you get smaller pixels, but then the resolution stays the same. It's still a 4K resolution, only this time the video quality or the low light performance is hindered a little bit. And I also think you don't have HDR in that mode, but the fact that you can zoom in, making this a wide angle camera and, well, not as wide of an angle camera and not lose resolution, that's also a pretty neat feature. Now, in terms of battery life, I would say that this is at the lower end of action cameras. It doesn't have the longest battery life. So together with this action pod, you get 170 minutes in 4K, 30 frames per second. And just this teeny tiny camera itself has about an hour's worth of video recording, which you can remotely view through this display over here, and it goes up to, I think, 10 meters. You get kind of a smooth video feedback, and you control the camera remotely with this up to that 10 meter. I think it's 10 meters. But if you have your camera on your forehead or somewhere mounted near you, then the video connection is going to be smooth. So I didn't have any issues with that. So 170 minutes that combined together is for the most part enough if you're going to take this camera out and get some shots and maybe do a vlog. Now, depending on how you film, I think that, almost 3 hours is enough to record a video if you go out. But it does also feature fast charging. So if you have a power brick, you can charge this up fast. I think it's 15 minutes up to, or 18 minutes up to 80%, something like this. So technically, if you have a power brick, you can really charge this up quickly so you can last the whole day. Okay, now let's talk about that form factor, which is the biggest feature of this camera, and that is the fact that you can actually take the camera out, and it's quite small, as you can see, and you can mount this to any accessory from Insta360 that has the same mount as this. Now, there is a downside to Insta360's magnetic mounts because all the other cameras, so the 360 X5 and the Ace Pro 1, Ace Pro 2, they all have the same magnetic/mechanical lock. But this camera has a different one, so you cannot use the accessories from those cameras for this camera. Now, there is, I think, a reason for this, and the fact is that you can actually connect this camera the same way as this. It has the same mechanism, and apparently it doesn't fit to other cameras. So yeah, you will need extra accessories for this. And I do recommend a few of them. For instance, this mini handle, which has its own little tripod legs, and you can extend it out to about this far, which is way enough for a selfie or a vlogging situation. You can also have a remote, so you can control the camera with a remote, and technically you can put any camera on this because it has the standard GoPro thumb screw mechanism. But if you get the Go Ultra magnetic mount, you can then use this together like this. And I've used this camera pretty much in every vlogging scenario, just like this. Now, as I mentioned before, the cool thing is that this tiny camera also has the same magnetic mechanical mechanism, so you can mount this on, and this now becomes your vlogging camera, and it is by far the smallest vlogging camera I've ever used. And technically, I don't even need the action pod. I can only take this with me and record the whole video, because the tiny camera does have a button here, and the microphone is here. The memory card is also here, not on the pod, so I only have to bring this with me to record video, although only 1 hour's worth of battery life. Now, speaking of the tiny camera, this is waterproof, so you can dive with this up to 10 meters, which is really cool. But the case is not waterproof, it's only splash resistant. So if you want to go underwater, you have to use this and not this. And there is one more thing that I've mentioned in my previous videos as well, is that the lens on the tiny camera is curved. So if you want to go underwater, it is going to be blurry. It's not going to be really sharp, and you have to replace this lens cover, which you can just unscrew off, and replace it with a flat lens cover that Insta also sells for this camera. So it is an easy replacement, but you do need that extra lens to go underwater. I don't do a lot of underwater shots, so for me that was not a big issue. Actually, I haven't even tried this underwater because I don't scuba dive. Maybe next week when we go to a spa resort or something like that, I'll take this with me and see how bad the video underwater actually is. No, but I'm not gonna go scuba diving in the Caribbean, so... And another really cool feature that Insta360's cameras have and other cameras don't is the tilt-up or flip-up screen. This is... I mentioned this in every video whenever I'm making videos with Insta360 cameras. This is something that sells the whole camera to me. And now, even 1 month later, I find this to be like the most valuable thing of an action camera, and this is why this is pretty much the only action camera that I take with me whenever I go out. Okay, so those were kind of the good things, and well, except for the lens, I think all of them are good. Now let's talk about the bad things about this camera, because there are a few bad things that kind of could be a deal breaker for many people, and that is the fact that this camera is only 8-bit and it records HDR. Now you might say, Miro, what the hell is that? HDR, isn't that a good thing? Well, the fact that it has HDR and 8-bit allows you to be a little bit more flexible in post-production, but it also gives that HDR look. So you have to always do the work if you want to match this camera to any other camera. Now, if this was a 10-bit camera and if it would have any sort of log picture profile, then it would be a lot easier to match this to, let's say, my Sony camera or my DJI drone cameras or any other camera. So if you have multiple cameras, you have to either match every camera to this one, or actually work with this camera in a different way to match it to other cameras. I know that's not a big thing for, I would say, 90, maybe 95% of users, but if you are a power user, or if you make a little bit more higher end videos where you have multiple cameras, then this starts to become an issue. So to me, this is really, I would say, a downside, and I'm always struggling to get the camera to look okay. Now, if you're only going to make videos with this camera, then everything that I've just said, just disregard it, because it's completely pointless. Only if you're trying to use multiple different cameras, then a baked-in HDR look is going to be difficult. So currently Insta is running a holiday special offer, so if you use the link down below and you buy this camera, you will get a Mic Air microphone with it. And the Mic Air is like the smallest microphone that you can put on you that wirelessly connects to this camera, and you get some really cool audio. Now, I made a video about this, you can watch it over here. It's not just about the microphone, but there's a section there which talks about and shows, sounds the microphone, and it's a really cool pair. So use the link down below. And while you're at it, also consider subscribing and hit the like button. It really means a lot. And most importantly, leave a comment, just say hello, or if you have any comments or questions, of course, ask me. YouTube really likes that, and I do as well. So that's it. That's where I'm going to wrap this video up. To me, this is still one of the best action cameras that I've ever used. Even though it's not the best video quality, it's pretty much up there with the Ace Pro 2, but the whole form factor with this tiny camera, remote viewing pod, and if you pair it with the Mic Air, well, you have a full package. So I do recommend it. Use the links down below. Thank you, Insta, for sending this over and for the whole collab thing. Really appreciate it. So that's it. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in, well, maybe in this video. Bye-bye.